Alright, next, a fish. A fish lays eggs in water. Out of thousands of eggs, only a few hundred develop into tiny baby fish because most eggs are eaten up by bigger fish. So, when a fish normally gives birth, it gives birth to around thousands of eggs. Okay, but by the time the eggs they develop into baby fishes, there will be only around 100 of eggs that developed into baby fishes. Why? Because most of the fish eggs are being eaten up by other fishes. All right, so remember that fishes normally they lay thousands and thousands of eggs, but by the time those eggs hatch, it will be only around 100 eggs that hatch. All right, because most of the eggs are being eaten up by bigger fish. Now next, reptiles. Reptiles like snakes, turtles, lizards, and crocodiles lay their eggs on the ground. The eggs get warm from the heat of the sun. The eggshells are soft and leathery. Most of these animals do not care for their eggs and babies and leave them to hatch and care for themselves. Most of these eggs are eaten by other animals. So, reptiles are animals like snakes, turtles, lizards, and crocodiles. Alright? Reptiles are snakes, turtles, lizards, and crocodiles. So, these animals they lay their eggs on the ground. That means mostly they don't make a nest or they don't have any sort of home, but they just lay their eggs on the ground. The eggs get warmth from the heat of the sun. So these animals, these reptiles, do not keep their eggs warm, all right? But the eggs, they get the warmth from the sun. The eggshells are soft and leathery. Most of these animals do not care for their eggs and babies and leave them to hatch and care for themselves. So most of the eggshells of the reptiles they are soft, unlike those of the birds they are very hard. Yes or no? The eggshells of the birds they are very hard, but the eggshells of the reptiles they are soft and leathery. And then most of the reptiles they do not take care of their babies. After they have laid the eggs, they leave their eggs wherever they have laid them, and then the babies will hatch out of the eggs and they will have to take care of themselves. So these baby reptiles they take care of themselves. The mother reptiles do not take care of their babies, but the babies they have to take care of themselves. So most of these eggs are also eaten by other animals because no one is taking care of these eggs. As soon as the reptiles have laid the eggs, they just leave their eggs, all right? So most of these eggs are being eaten up by other animals. All right, next is amphibians. Now, amphibians are animals like frogs, all right? Because why? Because amphibians are animals that stay both on land and water. So that's why they are called amphibians. So amphibians like frog lay eggs. They lay their eggs in large clusters called spawn in water at safe places. They take care of their baby only for some time. A frog's eggs hatch into tadpoles. Tadpoles look like very small fish and have no legs. Gradually, their body will grow out and turn into little frogs. So, amphibians are frogs, and even frogs they lay eggs. But when they lay eggs, they lay in clusters. That means in groups, in large groups. All right. And these clusters are called spawns, and they lay these eggs in water, in the water, not on the land but in the water. They find a safe place to lay their eggs, and They only lay their eggs in the water. They take care of their baby only for some time. A frog's eggs hatch into tadpoles. So the frogs, they do not take care of their baby for a long time, but they only take care of their baby only for a short period of time. All right, and when the eggs of the frog hatch, they will hatch into tadpoles. So first, these eggs will become tadpoles. They do not turn into frogs directly, but first the frog's eggs will become tadpoles. All right, will hatch into tadpoles. Then tadpoles look like very small fish and have no legs. So tadpoles, they are similar to a small fish. All right, and they have no legs. Because why? The frogs, they have legs, but the tadpoles, they have not grown any legs yet. All right, so remember that the eggs of the frog, first they hatch into tadpoles. And tadpoles, how do they look? They look like tiny fishes but without any legs. Okay, even though when the tadpoles grow and later on they grow into frogs, and frogs, they have legs, but these tadpoles, they do not have legs. Gradually their body will grow out and turn into little frogs. So after some time, these tadpoles will grow and become frogs. All right, next, insects. So all insects develop from eggs. Some insects like grasshopper and cockroaches pass through 3 stages in their life cycle. So it says here that all insects, they come out from the eggs. All right, and some insects, they have 3 life cycle. That means one part of their life, they are existing like something else, and in another part they are existing as something else. All right, wait, let us learn here. In a cockroach, all right, you see in this picture, in a cockroach, in these cases, the baby which comes out of the egg differs very little from the adult insect. So you see in this picture, there is an egg, then out of the egg comes something which is not the adult. All right, it is first developed into a nymph. The baby, it is called a nymph. So out of the egg comes the nymph. Then out of the nymph, what will happen? It will shed its skin. That means it will remove its skin. The way you take off your clothes, this nymph will take off its skin, will shed its skin. All right, and then a number of times it will take off its skin, not only once or not only twice, but several times. That means many times it will shed its skin many times, and this process of shedding its skin is called molting. So when this nymph sheds its skin, this process is called molting. So after molting several times, so after this nymph has take off its skin several times, then only the nymph will become an adult. All right, next, other insects like housefly, mosquitoes, and butterfly goes through 4 stages in the life cycle. So the 4 stages are eggs, larva, pupa, and adult. The young one which hatch out of the egg is called the larva. It is worm-like. The larva of a housefly is called a maggot, while that of a butterfly is called a caterpillar. The larva starts growing rapidly. After some time, it stops feeding and covers itself in a cocoon. This stage is called the pupa. Finally, the pupa bursts out of the cocoon and an adult insect comes out. So, in other insects like housefly, mosquitoes, and butterfly, they don't have 3 stages, but they have 4 stages. All right. So, the other insects which have 3 stages are the cockroaches and the grasshopper and the cockroaches. But here, the housefly, the mosquito, and butterfly, they have four stages in their life cycle. So the first stage are the eggs. Then after the eggs hatch, they will develop into something which looks like a worm, all right, like a worm, and this is called the larva, all right. The worm like thing that comes out of the egg is called the larva. So remember, when the eggs hatch, they will hatch into something that is called a larva, and this larva, it is like a worm. Okay, you can see in this picture, after the eggs hatch, they will become a larva. In the case of butterfly, it is called a caterpillar, all right. So when the eggs of the butterfly they hatch, they will become the caterpillar. So after that, the caterpillar will start growing, and then after some time it stops growing, then it will cover itself. It will cover itself fully. So it means that this caterpillar will cover its body, all right, and then it will turn into a cocoon, all right. After some time, it stops feeding and covers itself in a cocoon. You see here, it says that the caterpillar, after some time, it will stop growing and then it will cover itself, and that stage is called the pupa stage. Okay. Now finally, the pupa bursts out of the cocoon and an adult insect comes out. So after the pupa, then what comes out of the pupa? There will be an adult butterfly coming out. Okay, that is the end of this chapter, Reproduction in Animals. And in the next class, I will give you some questions based on this chapter. So you watch the video carefully and remember the important points so that you will be able to answer those questions. All right, class 4. So take care and stay safe.